And it does. It does. That's nuts. That's nuts. Right? Oh. Holy shit. That's 9. God damn. Nah, man, I'm gonna have to do it, man. I only like to do these guides when I really feel like we got something special. You know, we got something special. I'm gonna do a guide on Vi. I actually feel like it's a little bit better to do it than Caitlyn. Now, I do want to preface this that we will have to address the elephant in the room as when you play a card, grant allies +1 in hand is going to be a different type of build. So I will be like kind of talking about them like a little bit separately. So just keep that in mind. Like, there is some stuff, because obviously you guys just saw me do Strength of Stone, right? That is one of the options that I said. That's a completely different build from We Run the Streets, right? Because it just kind of changes what your options are, right? So let's first just go over the power stars. And then we have, when you draw a card, grant your strongest ally 1 defense and impact, right? As you guys saw, drawing a card is very crazy in the deck. We'll go over the deck in a second. Let's go over these 3 things first, and then we'll go through the rest of it and the rest of this and the bonus star powers, and it kind of would make sense, right? So we have this starting mana, draw 2 cards that cost 2 or less. I still need to test this. Maybe I'll do it in like a couple within this video. Is that I want to know if I Raven Plunder Vi, does that actually bring Vi into the hand? That would actually be pretty interesting, but that would also be a We Run the Street strategy. That would not be a that would not be not be a another type of strategy. And then eventually, when you get here, when you draw a card, grant them 2 defense and impact. This is the reason why we go Strength of Stone just to begin with, is because 1 unit is constantly, every time you draw a card, constantly getting 2 defense, which is 2 additional damage plus impact, right? And then you can see right here is the overwhelm, which is great. You can obviously get that in a run if you do not have that. If you're 3-star, it's fine. So let's go into the starting deck and just kind of like wrap this all together. What are the type of cards, and we're at level 30, right? What kind of cards are you even looking at? So let's look at each one, right? So this one gets stronger as you draw cards. This would obviously not benefit the Strength of Stone build. And then we have the Poro Snacks, right? Which summons a card, summons a Poro, 1-cost Poro, and also puts 2 Poros in the hand. And I'm gonna blow your mind in literally a couple seconds. Yeah, we're going fast. I don't even think I did my intro. Welcome to the channel. I'm just kind of hype about this. So we have this Eager Apprentice with Summon, gives you 2 spell mana, and then helps you draw a spell. So far, I could just tell you there's only 2 spells in the, oh sorry, there's 3 spells in the deck, I was about to say. But there's Mystic Shot, which is 2 mana, so you can play it immediately. Poro Candy, you can play immediately. Gotcha gets reduced by 2 if you draw into it, and then you can play it immediately. So everything that the Eager Apprentice gives you that is naturally in your deck is actually playable once you play Eager Apprentice. It's another card, so it's just nuts, right? Then let's just go over to the Mystic Shot, which has Draw Champion on it. So it's a Mystic Shot that draws. You just saw what I mean by draw. Check out the last 2 videos, and you'll see that the aspect of being able to draw at fast speed can throw the AI of the opponent off, or just being able to draw and boost up the unit and then attack, it's fine with that. Or draw, get your champion in hand, depending on what champion is your support champion. Or if you want to draw, get Vi in hand, then let her get boosted up in the hand first, like your Mystic Shot is your first step. You could do all of that, or what I just said. That's insane, right? It's just the Mystic Shot is definitely overloaded, and it does 4 damage because it has the charge sigil. Absolutely nuts. Veteran Investigator has Brash. Literally no one cares. This card is just in there. Definitely removable, I would say, later on, unless you can reduce it or forget some other good stuff. If you got some good options, you got good options. It is what it is. Chump Wump will show you that later it has a good upside, because you can get this reduced to 0 cost, and that's obviously really good for the streets meta, being able to spam cards and everything like that. But I think that this card is also removable. The Mushroom Cloud stuff is cute, but you have to play it for 3, and I feel like it's too slow. You guys already know, if you watch the other videos, Vi is quick as hell. Like, it's very quick of what she's able to do. It's insane. And then we have this Mischievous Spirit on it, and a little more defense going. This is definitely one of our stronger Strength of Stone builds. Vi has 6 defense, comes with a card, a tune, and allows you to play the prank. So again, it also resonates with the We Run the Streets as well. Then we have Gotcha that has the Hextech Fabricator on it. It's 2 costs when you draw into it. Definitely a card to discard if you get it in your starting hand though. 4 mana for that is kind of but if you can discard it with some of the other cards, then you're good. And then you have Vi, obviously, right? So let me just point out something more into why We Run the Streets is so strong, right? So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cards. I know that there's 2 of each card, right? You can do the math, it's fine. But out of the 9 cards that you have in here, only 3 of them are spells. You have the Poro Cannon, you have the Mystic Shot, and then you have the Gotcha. So 6 of the other cards are units. So you're likely to have units in your hand. And guess what? Poro Cannon discards a card and puts 2 more units in your hand, right? So outside of that, like you just gotta think about how strong We Run the Streets actually is. It's really strong. You have majority units in this deck, and I never even thought about this when I do other reviews of just like kind of thinking about like the odds of like drawing something over another thing. But your hand is gonna be really strong. That's when you play a card. It has nothing to do with summoning. It's just whenever I play a card out of the hand, and you can play a lot, you're gonna boost up the cards in your hand. So it's just really about doing this. And for Vi, she's getting a lot of attack very quickly, and that's where like I said, we're gonna try the Swain thing a little bit later in the video. Don't you worry. I honestly really want to see if it's possible. Though obviously there's a possibility that she might not even draw herself. It really depends on the ordering. How does it order? So yeah, that's it. So now that we know that, we know what the deck is like, so now we can go through the rest of it. So we do have the Overwhelm, like I said. That makes it no matter what way, like I said, until you get this, you can go Shrink the Stone, and boom. The Overwhelm just makes it incredibly hard to deal with. So it doesn't matter if you're doing the Relentless Force or the We Run the Streets. Pretty much over time, your units are going to get impact, and then eventually, which I actually started to like, the impact spreads between units, right? So like there are different units that are gonna have impact that the opponent is going to have to deal with. So it's just really strong. It's kind of nuts, right? Like it's just really strong. Mana flow, extra mana is always good. I usually get this last though. I usually don't prioritize getting mana flow, but it is what it is. But let's check out the bonus stars. We have the increased Nexus health, which is why I was surviving so long in the fights. Then we have the Rigorous Lamp on the support champion, and that's just giving them a little bit more impact. And if you have the We Run the Streets, they'll also have more attack, which is great. But it's cool that they can just get some impact while they're sitting in the hand, depending on what their cost is. That is just a super nice win more thing. I would avoid it if you can. I don't think you can. Then you have the Gotcha getting stronger, absolutely fantastic. This one I like. Followers you acquire that cost 4 more or get reduced down to 1, very similar to Elder Dragon, right? They're a little bit cheaper, and then you can find other ways to make it. Then this is what I was saying before. Mushroom Cloud has mana reduction, so Mushroom Cloud then becomes a 0 cost, allowing you to spam, really helping we either on the streets, or if you get any of the relic items that are about, I don't know the name of it, when it's like, when you play a card, they get +1/+1 for the turn. Really, really strong, obviously. And also this was for what I forgot what the thing is. It's called Mana Spell something, Spell Weaver. I don't know what it's called, but grant ally +1/+1 permanently. You grant it when you play a spell. So that would be really good. You play that other. Only one thing in the deck generates mushrooms. That's why I don't like it, because it's like it's cool and all, but it's only for one specific card. You can go find other cards and then you're fine. And then it's the rest of the nonsense that no one really cares about. All right, so now as you can see, there's that really thing. I'm just gonna go what I think is good. So let's say Cease and Desist, obviously really good. I have to test out other ways to get her 10 attack at the same time of giving her 10 attack, also getting her to play her within a reasonable amount of time. As you saw in 2 videos, it just seemed like Cease and Desist was like a dead slot, right? Because it only involves when you have enough mana to play Vi. Now you could get some cost reduction on Vi and then get her out earlier, but if you play her earlier than before she has 10, this thing does not trigger. So I think that it's just it's a good to have, but I do feel like it is better on Volibear. I feel like it's better on Elder Dragon when you have these characters that have 10 attack already, or very easily get 10 attack, plus they have a mechanic already in the game or already in their deck that reduces their cost to make it a little bit more feasible for you. But it is good on her, no doubt, but it just seems like it's a really weird thing. So I just feel like it's good, but it's not as crazy as well. Then we have this Chosen by the Stars, which you already have Overwhelm, depending on how you do it. But if you don't have that, I can see maybe, hey, you can go Chosen Star. She's gonna get 10 attack regardless. She has Faded, she has the Augment, so you can target her, she can get stronger. The regen is nice. She already has Challenger, so it's really depending, like I said, depending on where you're at. But Chosen by the Star, obviously really good. I also do like Death's Foil because there will be times where you just want to attack with her. She'll just have a ton of impact. You don't want her to die. So like you'll just have it, hey, just attack while I'm attacking, boom, I can't die. I think that Death's Foil is really good. You guys saw me use the Lux Incandescent Baton. I do think it's really good because of the fact that I draw costs. You saw the followers. There's a lot of followers in the deck, but at 2 or less and it gets a Targon's Embrace, it just guarantees to me that I have a play on turn 1, and I do like that. And sometimes I do misconstrue it. I do speak about it incorrectly, is that it's 2 or less, so it actually pulls from a deeper pool than I thought it does. It can give you a 1 cost unit, is 2 or less, and then it will do. But at least you'll have a play on turn 1, because you want to, as soon as possible, put a unit on the field with Vi. Every time you draw, you need someone taking those buffs, so I definitely like the Lux Incandescent Baton, because it gives me something to just smack right on the field. Now, if I'm looking and searching for one of those, the Husk, or the Vanguards, or anything like that, anything I can get on the field on turn 1 is just good enough for me, and then you'll just start stacking on that card. It's crazy. So I do like that as well. Similar argument to this, Oath of the Guardians, you put champions in the deck and you draw. So when you play Vi, the other thing about the champions is cute, but at the same time, it's you play and the draw is really good. Not the biggest thing, I think, but it is an option. I guess it's something. Pack Powder. I actually think that Pack Powder is really easy. Why? Because you are, or the Plunder, any of the Plunder ones, because there's impact. You can literally sacrifice a unit by attacking into it, attacking into the Nexus, boom, impact will trigger the Plunder, and then you can use the Plunder stuff to play her a little bit cheaper. And you can pretty much do it. You don't have to do like the Swain thing specifically, but you can definitely do this. So hey, boom, she gets stronger every time I hit the Nexus, and she comes, especially because it boosted the defense, makes it a little bit easier maybe to hit that cease and desist or things like that. That's definitely the game plan, I feel like, when it comes to her, right? Spectral Scissors. I think Spectral Scissors is absolutely crazy, right? You guys have seen how strong, like I said, the unit that has been sitting on the field for a long period of time. If I can summon a exact copy of it with the impact, that's been crazy. There's a lot of lethals. Unfortunately, this one is the type of one where it's attached to her, right? So it is attached to her, so you need to play her. I would combine this with one of the things that can reducing her cost by that. Maybe something like this, right? Get her out there a little bit earlier. Plus, then we utilize the unit that's already been out there, and then yeah. So hopefully you guys can see that combo. Spellweaver Symphony, man. Spellweaver Symphony, absolutely phenomenal. Doing the Lord's work. When you gain the attack token, create a random spell. It costs 2 less. You can usually play it and it doesn't have to do with new or anything like that, but it's a free spell to help Vi get to her stuff. If we run the streets as active, it's just a free spell, play on that. It's just amazing. And usually, depending on the region, like I think it was PNZ Targon was insane. The amount of spells that you can get that are really good for those 2 regions. So yeah, it really depends on the region, but it's just usually free. Most of the time you have stuff that targets things. You have things that are just free to play. It's amazing. I definitely suggest Spellweaver Symphony on her. Of course you can do this one, right? Because she has the defense. Her defense is very close to it. You would have to go with this. I mean, you can even go this, doing that 6, and then I just need another thing that does 2. Luckily, we even have something like, what is it? Or you could do that plus the classic one, the one that gives you 3. I think that's another way you can do it. I think I passed like the Jace thing. This is not that bad of a thing here, right? So if I want to get that extra mana, I give her boom 6 and then 8. She's now at 8 costs instantaneously. She also has 8 defense, which is great. So she's Titanic, which is would help out for some other things as far as powers and relics, right? And this is a pretty strong build right here. This would be phenomenal, I would say, right? Like you have it that you get the extra mana, you have more mana to play with. The same thing with Formidable Will, Strength of Stone, that you guys have already seen. And this is what I've said before. You guys, I like to have videos out now before I do a guide, because then I could just reference the video. I don't have to like show it examples of stuff. Swain's Raven Army. Let's test that out right here, right now. So yeah, we'll just go in here real quick, go into a match, and I just want to see how it works. What is the order of operations? Very important here, let's pay attention. So what am I looking for? I'm looking for to see the order of things, right? So what triggers first? If this triggers first, Vi then becomes less than 2 costs in the deck, and then then does this trigger. It looks like this is gonna trigger first, because a lot of times it does go from here down, right? So it should trigger first. We're looking to see the Nexus get hit first, and then we should see if potentially that Vi gets drawn. She might not get drawn anyway, but let's just see. Let's see the order. So no, I drew the 2 cards right there, you saw it, and then 20, then it happened. Now she's 1 cost. So it does not work, is my point. So though I can play her, we still see the Raven Plunder, I can play her, but to do all of that just to play her on turn 1, I don't really have any benefits to that really. So I think we can X-nay that out, right? Really important, the ordering of things right there. So I still like Pack Powder, but obviously the Raven Plunder thing would just be silly. It doesn't really give you that much of an advantage. So that is all for the epic relics. Let's get these out of the way. And then let's see what we have as far as blues. What do we have for the blues? Chemtech is too slow. I think Archangels is too slow. Really bad in slot. Condenser, maybe, but it again feels too slow. Corrupted Star Fragment, I do approve of. Eating that unit that's been sitting out there with all that impact and putting it on one unit is pretty good. Obviously, it's bad depending on the matchup, because if they remove that one unit, then sometimes spreading out wide is better. So you got to be careful with that. Rally here, I do think is good, only with probably like something like Cease and Desist, right? Because you can play it on their turn, you level up in Rally, and then you can still run like a Strength of Stone or something else that just still powers up. Basically, what I'm trying to get into your heads is that the powers are really strong because a lot of times she's not on the field. So a lot of stuff feels a little bit weird. I do thought about like Gale Force, right? Gale Force, Cease and Desist. You can run Cease and Desist. When I level up Rally, and then the Scout, we would get a Scout attack, and then maybe that's another way to get a really strong OTK, right? Especially, I think that this is the build right here for 6-star power. This to me seems like it would be insane with 6-star power, because she would be super strong. She already took out the strongest unit, allegedly, 10 attack or whatever, and then you get the Scout. Then she goes back into the deck, which is kind of like but you're trying to one-turn kill, right? You're trying to niddly this stuff, so the Gale Force should be irrelevant to you. Or, maybe you'll just have multiple Vi's and then that one goes, but then you do it the next turn. It's another really cool way about this is that if you do have multiple Vi's in hand, right, they're still going to stack up. They still stack. You guys have seen this happen, right? They still stack. So multiple Vi's in hand can really help with this strategy. I mean, the level up rally is only going to happen once, but the Gale Force aspect of it actually works in your favor, right? So you can maybe do it multiple times. I would even maybe take out when I level up Rally, right? We take that out, and then we could do something like Echoing Spirit, right? So we go Echoing Spirit, get a bunch of Vi's in hand, spam a bunch of cards to where all these extra Vi's have the 10 attack, and then we just do that every round, and we just have her attack. Not as much impact, but remember, there's still a card on the field that's still getting that good impact anyway. So another really cool strategy that we can really implement, that we could try out in a later video, because I don't have her 6 stars. That's some 6-star stuff for you. Don't ever say I didn't put you on game, right? So what else do we have here? Harder Gold, really good for all the damage that she does to the environment. No, I'm just kidding. Let's see what else we got here. Luminous Orb, obviously, for the other combo. Though you need 8, right? So it's 3, you would have 7, and then you would have the Titanic thing here, and then you have to find a way to give her like 1 more. I like the other combination of stuff that I have, but obviously the Hextech battery, Jace thing, that's in a bundle. I like the other version of it, but then Luminous Orb seems okay, but it really depends on your options. What do you have? What do you have? What are you shelling? Stalker's Blade, obviously really good, right? Because you summon her, instantaneously you strike the weakest. If she actually has 10 attack, that will trigger, and depending on how much stuff you can depending on how much stuff you have, that could be a really strong thing, just clearing out the field. The only thing that I would prefer is that if it's mid attack, possibly with the cease and desist, I think that then it would trigger the impact multiple times. I don't know how that, I think you'd have to do it like something like this, if I'm not mistaken. The challenge would go through first, and then the Stalker's Blade strikes would go. She would hit the 3, that would be interesting, right? We would have to test that out. I want to test that out right now. Let's test it out right now, fuck it. All right, here we go. And another thing I want to show you guys is, like I said, remember I was talking about the Gale Force? Vi here, I have 2 of them in the hand, and they're great. So this would have been a perfect example for the Gale Force thing as well, right? I have Vi in hand. She would, I would do this, the Gale Force, we could cause the Scout with Cease and Desist, and then she would go away, and then I have another Vi in hand, so I would do it the same thing the next turn. so just to show you, it's really powerful if you can get 2 Vi's in hand. But here we're trying to see, does the impact that she has, 3 impact, does that trigger first? Because the challenge should happen, and it should now be,
I'm doing this my way.
It does. It does. That's nuts. That's nuts. Right? Oh! Holy shit! That's 9. God damn!
Vi stands for victory.
It really does. That just showed me a lot. Actually, that cease and desist is kind of crazier than I thought it is. So Volibear, I said that Volibear was crazy with it, right? Because he does that, but getting the impact, you know what? But Volibear doesn't start a free attack, right? This makes it start a free attack. That's still crazy though. It kind of makes me wonder. As you just saw, I did 3 strikes, but let's go all the way down to the elephant in the room, right? So that gives 3 impact. She does sit in the hand. So Wriggler's Lantern, right? So this plus the impact with there, that was, like I said, 9 damage, and this could have been 12. Or there was 2 units there, obviously, right? And then since one of the weakest units was the one that she was challenging, even though it was the strongest, she killed that. And then obviously you'd only do 1 strike, not 2. But that was pretty strong, I have to say. I definitely would have to say that was pretty strong showcase of that type of strategy. Cease and desist plus Stalker's Blade, the level up of the Stalker's Blade, then it allowed us to that was really strong. Cease and desist and Stalker's Blade seems like really good for Vi specifically, whether it's 2 Stalker's Blade or not. That just seemed really crazy. That seemed really strong. So again, just testing stuff out. This is what I like to do. You guys know me, I like to do that, stuff like that. Even something like this, Succubus Brand. I'll tell you right now, when I get to the powers, that Husk are extremely good. Why? Because they hold mostly for the Strength of Stone thing, but they hold the defense. They already have defense put on it, then they have +2 defense. They're giving +2 defense to a unit, plus if they get impact when you draw, and then you pass that on to another unit that gets played, and they have a ton of defense, and it's a lot of OTK potential. I don't know if I would waste a slot on it, but obviously these are I like giving you guys options. So if you do have Succubus Brand, and maybe you have Cease and Desist, or since she has Challenger, you can challenge and attack things, and then maybe you make 2 Husk and then play a really big unit. Yeah, you could do that as well too. Pretty crazy, right? But Berserker's Buckler, I guess, because you survived the arrows with the berry. No, it's again, it seems too slow. A lot of this other stuff is going to seem too slow. Someone told me that they go Gatebreaker, right? They go Gatebreaker. Probably not double breaker, but they do go Gatebreaker because of the fact that get plus in. They must have something else. You could probably go Gatebreaker with levels, the 6-star run, right? You have a bunch of attack. You play her you still want Cease and Desist, right? You hit the Nexus for a ton of damage, right? That might be a thing. You could probably even go triple, right? When you're 6-star triple Gatebreaker, you have -3, but if you played a bunch of cards before that, she's gonna hit the Nexus for potentially 30+ damage. Yeah. That's a really strong combo. I don't know if you need 3 of them, but it would still be pretty good. That is, again, we run the street strategy, right? We run the streets. I also thought about Grand General's counter plan, if you can get her out early, more specifically because Vault Breaker is one of the best things, because a Vault Breaker, it's not that many cards that create themselves. I think only, what do they have, Varus that has his own thing that creates its own card. It creates another version of itself. So if you happen to have if you want, this is a run specific thing, you have a Vault Breaker build, right? So you already have stuff on a Vault Breaker, it reduced cost, or it's very cheap or something like that, or I think the best thing would be Power Rift. I'll obviously suggest that later, but Power Rift on a Vault Breaker, that means they'll all be free. You can just keep playing it over and over again, OTK, especially with Overwhelm. So yeah, I just thought about that. Maybe Grand General's counter plan would kind of work with that, but yeah, not necessarily, but it is an option, right? I kind of like Evolve as well, just because there's a lot of weird, wonky keywords out there. Her just assuming all of them as she's attacking and killing stuff just seems like a good thing. And yeah, that's it. I don't usually go over the greens unless there's a really interesting green that like works with her, but I don't really think that there is one in comparison. I guess if you're starting off, I always say Chameleon's Nexus always to me is the really good, right? I think you just having extra copies, especially her that needs to be in the hand to get her stats early on, I always suggest that, or Z-type prototype, because if you have her start up but she's not leveled up, you just want like extra rerolls to make your run better. I always say that. These are the ones of the epics that I don't have yet, so I should have did this. I did it at the end. It's fine. When you summon an ally, granted spell shield. This is another thing that I was saying before, is that powers are extremely strong, right? Because just having all my allies with spell shield, obviously that's a no-brainer, right? That's a perfect third power, especially when I'm going strength stone or anything like that, just to assist me by not, I don't know, dying, right? Like that would just be pretty good. I don't know about the Frozen Tomb thing really. When you summon or level up a champion, refill your spell mana. That's really good. That's better than the Jace one, right? This is like what everyone probably wished the Jace one was, but it's not. Play, attack, rouse, no. More rerolls, more chances to do. I guess that's nice. I mean, more rerolls is good. I would do that obviously when I'm doing my nonsense runs, right? That would be really good, because the only way Z drive is 2. If I have a purple slot for that character, I would just put this one in there instead, and then 2 Z drives on any character. Starting goals, allies have +1 for every card, 12 cards in the deck. I guess you could do that on her, right? To get her earlier stats, maybe. There's a different strategy, I think, for that. But like I said, powers are really strong on her, right? Because you will probably end the game before that. But then there are strategies if you want to play into Vi, right? Hopefully that was helpful for you guys. Let's now go into the powers, right? You guys know I like to start off with the commons and we'll work our way up. So there are certain powers. I just want to give like a general like statement, I guess, of the powers, because I think that would make it easier. You're looking for stuff that, one, definitely draws. Anything that helps you draw is really going to be strong. If you don't have Crush, boom, there goes Crush. It's one of the common powers in there. Granting Fury, that's pretty good too. Or Challenger, you can challenge a specific thing. Anything that summons something in the beginning of the match. Game start summon is insane. Husk is probably like the most OTK nonsense that you can actually get. You get 2 units out in the field, and one of them starts to just take all your draw, defense, boosting, impact, and then you pass that on to another unit. Is absolutely insane. There's just, like I said, this is probably like the best common power. If you see it common and you have some rerolls during your run, just pick this up. I promise you, it will break your run. I would literally search for it just to show you guys how strong it is, but that would take too long. I don't have that much time on my hands, right? This one would be okay, but as you guys saw, it's the ordering. I actually don't know where this orders. Draw like 4 cards, you'd have a ton of cards in hand. But I also would say flexible game plan is pretty good, because then you'll have all those cards in the hand. We run the streets kind of strategy, right? Get as many units in the hand, so as you keep playing them, you have these very strong, overwhelmingly strong units, because you're just starting to play stuff and you have more options in your hand, and it is really a flexible game plan. So there's nothing wrong with this if you see it. I think that that's a really good common to get as well. Hollowed is pretty good, obviously. There's another one, Sparring Student, amazing. Raiding Party, I do like. We have a lot of impact and it will bench the top ally. I think that that's a no-brainer, right? I don't even think I've ever seen Sticky Fingers. But Nab is technically drawing. You're drawing from the enemy's deck, but it's still considered a draw, so that would actually work, right? And then Whoosh, another thing, Vastine Disciple, an elusive defense stacking unit. Yes, when you attack with it, it goes back into the hand, but it goes back in the hand, and guess what? It turns into a draw spell. So like, yeah, pretty good. Now we're going to the rares. Domination is a no-brainer. Fast Deal is a no-brainer. I should be able to easily say some of these. I like Fixer Upper, obviously, as well, too, for obvious reasons. Again, gearing up, 2 Armored Gearheads. Just sitting on the field, getting all those lovely stats for free. You need that something gaining those stats. Higher Education, draw, give them attack. That's obvious. Don't do that with Strength of Stone, please. That would I would laugh at you. Any of the stalling stuff is always good. Hold them off, hold it, obviously really good. Inheritance, obviously really good, right? If you, again, not Strength of Stone. You're only getting the power of the unit, not the defense. Sting Officer, same thing. Quick Draw, amazing. Sorcery, obviously really good. Well, I mean, still pretty good. This, obviously really good. Some of these things are just like no-brainers. Again, a unit that starts off on the field. There it is, the best defense attack, grow my health to my power. That's absolutely amazing. Stalling. This is obviously good for Vi specifically, but as you're playing, if you're playing We Run the Streets, Trifarian Might becomes insane. Your Poro all of a sudden comes out with 5 attack after a while. Vanguard Lookout, that was one of the ones I first tried. Absolutely insane. I wish I had Strength of Stone when I had that. That would have been insane, pushing about, what is it, +2, they get +1 I think every turn. So it would have been pushing 10 damage. Oh my God. Insane. Created cards, we don't have too many, but we create some Poros, but it is decent. So there we go. Let's go with the epics. This, in combination with any of the Husk stuff or any of the created cards that comes out immediately, is insane. It's pretty obviously. So if you do have any of those and then you run into this later as an epic, then do that. Or you can vice versa, get this first, because you do have Poros, right? The Poro spell automatically puts a Poro on the field, so that Poro would be a +3/+3. And when you play the other ones, they'll also have some good stats. So don't be afraid to get this. You do have created stuff like that anyway. But if you have something that comes out in the field, Biggle Dust is insane. A lot of OTK potential there. Black Market, I guess, for Vi, I guess. Every other card, she's the highest card anyway. This one's decent, because there's a lot of temporary buffs that you have, but Evolution's good for Vi, I guess. Poro Buddies, very obvious why that's good. Manifold, obvious. Revenge, yeah. Oh yeah, there we go. Game out of the gates, amazing. You have a lot of really good 2-cost cards in the deck. very specifically, when you're looking at that, the Eager Apprentice can come out right in the beginning without you having to play it, and the Veteran Investigator then would draw, then give himself stats. Obviously, really, really good. Sharing is caring, obviously, especially if you have a board already, then you play Vi, all of them getting the impact, 1 stack of impact, obviously, and then all the other keywords. Insane. Stacked against them, depending on how you're building the deck. Grand Plaza is just amazing, and then when you summon, we don't really have that many 1-cost, but there is that, and I would never go over the legendaries because that's just a waste of my time. Now, let me just point out a couple of powers, items is what they call it, right? There's a couple of items that I really like, and I just want to obviously go over the main one that's just super important. Oh, okay, it's current. These are seen on all 4 types. Okay, so they have it set. I did not know that they had it separate. So these are, so it's Power Rift. This is what I want to say. So Power Rift is really strong because as you're drawing a bunch, you have to draw. Eventually, the card becomes free. Depending on what you can get this on is absolutely insane. It appears on cards that are 2 base costs or more, so could be on a ton of different cards. I was trying to look for it, but they have it separated from the commons and stuff because it can be on literally anything. I was thinking about that. I was like, it could literally be on anything, so I don't know if I have to look for unit specific things. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out. There's a lot of other really good things. Let me just find them. Actually, I'm not. I just realized you guys should be able to understand this by now. We're really late in the video, you should be able to pick up anything like this, strike, draw, anything that helps you draw, anything that helps you draw a champion. Obviously, is pretty good. Anything like stuff that creates cheap things like Mischievous Spirit. Look at when I'm summon, draw. These are just the common ones, and anything of that nature. I hope that you guys. I shouldn't have to go through each thing. I feel like that would be kind of nuts to just kind of figure out. I'm just scrolling through right now just to see. Oh, yeah, ramping is obviously good. There's no ramp in the deck, but get her out there quicker. This is the escalated charge, really good if you have the other thing. When you play a card, give it +1/+1 this round. And there was the other thing where it was like when you play a spell, it's definitely a unit one. I think it's a purple. Pretty sure it's epic, right? Focusing Crystal. It's actually like Swain. All his units have it or something like that. Play a spell, grant me +1/+1. Really good. Heavy hands. I mean, it's pretty like no-brainer. When I summon, refill your spell mana. Absolutely. This stuff is. So you gotta be careful with this one. Always be careful with that one. But that is gonna be it for good old Vi. Showed you guys some fun stuff. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think of Vi. I think that she's amazing. If you guys have any characters that you want me to look more into deeper, I do think that she's. People are definitely underestimating how strong this chick is, man. It's nuts. It's absolutely insane. But yeah, I definitely want to try Volibear. I want to do the Volibear with the Stalker's Blade. He already has the strike, so I don't even need to waste the Stalker's Blade slot. He'll attack it and he'll automatically deal the 3. But he's not leveling or something like that. He wouldn't be pre-leveled because Volibear has to be on the field and then level, which is kind of slow. But it would be nice. Wouldn't it be nice? But anyway, we got some fun and testing to do, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.